up Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky, man, they're feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky, as they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old deep 20s, Geeky is where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, Toys in the Box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky is with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky as they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezer Show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Disney Appreciation Channel. I'm kidding. This is welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli.
Hello, hello. We made it. We made it.
And this
starting another week here.
We made it. Yes, we did make it. Yes, I just have to make it through this week, and I'll be in a better mood. But this is my other co-host, Netter of Netters Network, also known as the Geezette.
Good evening.
Those are some interesting commercials we talked about on Friday, huh?
I mean, that was some fun stuff. It really was. I've missed. If you're going to advertise to me, entertain me. This is kind of how I feel about some of the YouTube channels. They'll do ad spots and you roll your eyes, and then sometimes they'll do an ad spot and you just kind of smile, because not only do they have a great segue, but they do an entertaining, read. And I'm like, you know who does that really well is Sydney Watson. She just had a recent health scare, but she does some hysterical. It's like, I'm going to watch this because this is more as entertaining or more entertaining than the story she's doing. John Solo is another one. He does the what do you call it? The origin of fairy tales and stuff like that.
Oh, neat.
And he finds these brilliant ways to segue into the commercial, and of course he's just very talentedly funny, just in a very dry, off the cuff kind of way. I'm like, man, that's some good stuff. Brandon Herrera, he's another one. But anyway, adverts are a good thing if implemented well. As long as they pay for the product, pay for what I'm consuming, so I don't have to. That's great. Don't give me commercials if you're also going to be charging me. That's just going to piss me off.
Well, I'm sure, doesn't Disney Plus, another one, have tiers for commercials now?
The tier should be, if you get commercials, it's free. Anything else is unacceptable to me.
Well, what are you going to do? Go watch Pluto, where you can watch the X-Files and Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Nope.
But has commercials, but it's free. It's free. That's my point. You're going to go watch that?
Yeah, it's free. Exactly. I'll start off by watching Pluto.
Pluto.
Is that what it's called?
There's
Pluto
Tubi and
Tubi.
Pluto. There are a bunch of them. Pluto announced though they
To
show
be honest, they are incredibly good. I've seen a lot of great movies. I've seen a lot of bad movies. But how do you complain about watching a bad movie for free?
It's free, yeah.
Right? And
Still get commercials, but yeah. Other than that,
I do not mind it under those circumstances. I really don't. And let's just say there are other options out there. Just
there
saying.
are. Yes, there may be. Anyway, let's
It's up to you to determine what those options are.
Yes. But I'd like to say hi to Big Al. Big Al Presents. Hello, my geezer friends. Hope you're doing well this evening and hope you have a great show tonight. You know, the movie we're going to be discussing for Good Old Days is technically a Christmas movie. So I'm just... I mean, it takes place at Christmas time. I think I saw a tree in the background in one of the scenes. I mean, come on. So welcome Connie Cleary. Welcome Deleted Scenes. Yes, we're getting a Deleted Scenes raid. He was talking about politicians. Oh, there's an AI story in your Illinois area that we may have to discuss.
Yeah.
You probably know about that, actually, since you live over there. Big data center coming. Netter of Netters Network, welcome. Thank you for the hi, sweetie. Of course, you're in the chat as well.
You're welcome.
Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, welcome. Zootopia, welcome. Let's see, who else am I missing here to do? Lynn Green, who reminds me of She-Hulk because she's green. Let's see.
Oh, I always think Orion, but there you go.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Lights Out have a
that
good
makes more
screen.
sense.
Wait. Oh, I think she's going to bed, and so she's not going to be sticking around. Yeah.
D. Penzak, welcome. I think I didn't get a chance to say hi in the other stream, so hi now. Tired Midnight Blogger, welcome.
Yeah, Oversimplified finds a way to work NordVPN into historical events. What was it I was watching? I think it was History. Is it History Geek or History? I forget which channel it is, but and I like it. He just doesn't publish very often. Did a 2-hour deep dive into the Ridley Scott Napoleon, and he just frickin' ripped it apart. He just crapped all over it.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
He was able to work some modern thing into. I don't remember what it was or what.
The Me Too era, the Me Too movement, that should have made it into that.
It should have, given the way that movie went, it should have. But no, he was talking about some computer platform or something like that. I'm like, if you can find a way to segue from Napoleon into that, that's pretty talented, you know. Oh no, I take it back. It was one of those war game ones, so that one worked easily. Never mind.
Oh, I see.
That was that one transitioned actually pretty well. So, you know.
Geek Flag, welcome to the chat. Entire Midnight Blogger, Lady Mist, welcome. Good to see you. And I think that's it for now. Do you want to bring up the presentation?
You're lucky I even loaded the presentation. I was doing that before you came into the studio.
It's
but
fine,
because you were running late, you never even noticed. So what the
It's
heck?
fine. I mean, like I said, we can chew the fat if you had to upload it now. Actually,
I
never
have
liked that
plenty of
expression.
fat to chew. Let me be honest.
What does that expression mean? Did you like go into a bar and they just had a vat of fat and you chewed it while you waited for
No. I think it has something to do with honestly, someone like Nate or Big Al might know better, but I always thought it came from the tanning industry, like literally chewing on leathers or whatever to soften them or something like that. I actually don't know, to be honest with you.
Because I thought that's what it was, and then someone, hey, I have this thing called a chewing gum. Would you rather have this? Yes, please. And that's how the business started.
Maybe. Actually, the idea of chewing on I think it's called chicle it's a sap you get from the tree. A rubber tree, I think it is, or something like that. They've been doing that for over 1,000 years. I mean, it goes a long way back.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I know that in Canada they would you're supposed to suck on the syrup droppings, not just eat it. They don't eat it. You suck on it or something. Yeah, that's like
And pitch, they used to chew on pitch when it would get like really start to get firm. You get some of that flavor out of it. A
interesting.
little bit of sugar.
I
Yeah.
should try that sometime. All right, so we're gonna talk about the good old days.
Good old days from a certain point of view. I'll be honest with you. This is a hard hitting story with some very deep messaging to it, and forcing you to take a kind of a critical look at the way we've treated our veterans. I'll be honest. They decided to go with a fairly happy ending compared to the way the book ends.
I heard the book ends differently, and the book was interesting because the antagonist is a Korean War veteran, which I didn't realize. That's not played up in the movie at all, which I don't even know if he is one in the movie. But let's get into this. This is, of course, First Blood, and this is how people were introduced to Rambo.
John Rambo, yeah.
John Rambo.
Exactly.
And this, I knew Rambo. It's funny because I think because I had Showtime growing up, they must have shown all the Rambo movies on HBO. Because I never really got around to watching this till I was older. This is, I think of Rambo, I think, oh, and then the shooting and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly.
And you kind of get that in this, but this is actually more of a, I don't know if I want to say drama, thriller. It's not as much the action hero stuff that you got in the sequel movies, even though kind of the message in this movie is still in those movies too, though. But it starts out,
if you really think about it, the action sequence is just a slice out of this movie. By and large, it's the drama that he goes through coming into town, being razzed by the local constabulary, arrested, and then he's just like, he's had enough. He kind of snaps, and they're calling in, everyone they can call in. But the thing is, he flees into the woods, and that's his territory, and
Yep.
he's treating it like a war.
What's interesting about this is, the movie starts out, this is Sylvester Stallone as John Rambo, and he's a Vietnam War vet, and he goes to visit the family of one of his old, war buddies, the last one of his troop that he knows was alive, and they said, no, he got doused with that orange stuff. He died of cancer like 3 years ago or something. And it's like, and they're not doing so well. And you see like the dejected look on his face too, because he was looking forward to seeing his friend that he lost contact with, and then it's like he's dead, and it's like another casualty of war just after he came home. And
Right.
so then he's wandering. He wanders into this town, and that's when, as you said, the local constabulary. As played by Brian Dennehy, great actor. Plays a great heavy in this movie because he looks like the kind of guy you'd see in your town. Hello, sheriff. Like the normal, but he's not treating John Rambo too well. And I guess because he sees John Rambo as a drifter, which I suppose he is, but he's not doing anything illegal. In fact, what he wanted to do, he wanted to go get a meal at a diner and move on. That's what he wanted to do. He was just going to go sit down, get a tea, and then move on. That's all he wanted.
And the reality is, not all drifters are made the same.
Yes.
Technically, when I came into Orlando, I was kind of a drifter too. I was just kind of coming in, seeing the sights, spending a couple days, and leaving. Right? A lot of places kind of make their money off of people that do that. And he was going to come into town. He was going to spend some money. He was going to get a meal, maybe a place to stay for the night, and keep moving. They decided that wasn't okay with them.
Yeah, see, Sheriff Tess Teasel is a more sympathetic in the book, a man dealing with his own demons. Yeah, and I think the book's probably an interesting read on its own, and I should probably check that out someday. Maybe it's for time or whatever. He's not sympathetic in this movie.
No,
you are not on his side.
I've always said this. There is a reason that books tend to be better than movies, because they give you an opportunity to explore the characters in a way you just can't in a visual medium. With only 2 hours, you have to get the story told in 2 hours. So you have to trim a lot. So you don't get things like internal monologues lots and lots of background.
No, you don't get the internal monologues because
Right.
they don't work that well on film. I mean, sometimes they do, but like James Bond in those books, you get a lot of internal
Yes.
monologues.
Yeah.
It's where a lot of the humor comes from in the books. It's from him, his reaction to things
What he's
that he's
thinking,
seeing. Yes. Whereas in the movies, I think they have him bounce off the guy from Q Branch, Q. That's where they
Right.
get a lot of the humor in the movies from. But yeah, he's basically like, I'm gonna drive you to the other end of town. Says, why are you hassling me? You know what? That flag means something in this town to a lot of people around here. And you're just coming in, not realizing this guy's a veteran. Okay, this guy,
Right.
he's
Well,
he
I
served,
mean,
he
the
probably
whole
did more for his
U.S.
country than
Army
you
on
did.
the U.S. Army on his jacket should mean something. Just saying.
Yes. So let's see here, and then of course we go and they decide to do this thing where they're accosting
Yeah.
him in
So
the bathroom. 'Cause-
unfortunately,
yeah.
what happens here is causes him to have there. So there is some backstory, right? You do get a flashback how he was treated as a prisoner of war. Now,
It's by the Viet Cong, I believe. And
yeah,
it's really nasty.
exactly.
I don't show that part here. You have to see the
And
movie.
there is a
and it's
scene
shown
that
in snippets.
right, and so he has a flashback, and so you kind of immediately go, man, I totally understand him reacting the way he is. He's being treated by our own government effectively, the same way he was treated by the enemy during war. That's a huge statement. But also, there's a scene that comes up a little bit later where he has to take off his shirt, and they see all the scars over him. Any human being would look at that and back up and say, "Hold on a second here.
Okay, now in
what
defense,
are we doing here?"
In defense, one of the officers there is saying maybe we should back off or leave him be. I think it was the one played by David Cruz. So he's like,
I do.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that, but there does, I've made a lot of comments online about the Nuremberg defense. It's like, it's not enough to just say, maybe. No, you need to say, I'm not involved here. I'm walking out, and I might very well be reporting you if you don't back down. You need to be willing. Look, you need to have the kind of balls that Rambo did. He went and fought for his country. You need to be able to fight for him. Now, in this scene here, I don't know if it's this scene or one coming up in a little bit. He gets into a fight with these cops, and in the filming of it, the officer Lester, he ends up breaking his nose, and so he's got a bandage through the rest of the movie.
Yes.
That actually happened. Sylvester Stallone accidentally broke Alf Humphrey's nose, and which coincidentally is exactly what happened in the book. It was not intentional. It was not scripted, but by coincidence, they got something that was the same in the book.
Well, what's interesting is that they're redoing a scene from the book, and the result of that scene was someone getting the nose broken. They were redoing it. Maybe that's just what might happen, and maybe they were going to have it in the movie where a guy making him wear a fake bandage on his nose. But that's, Oh, by the way,
what's real is real, right?
Yeah, delete scenes. The guy to the left, is that the guy who played Hank Jennings on Twin Peaks? I can't see his face that well, but I think that's.
As a matter of fact, it might be. Let me take a look.
I think it is. Just looking at the nose
chin?
and mouth, yeah, it looks like him.
Let me take a quick look. I can see.
The idea is they're going to give him a shave and they're going to wash him down so you can see the judge in the morning or something. Right?
Chris Mulkey played Ward. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So moving on, when they show the razor, that's when he snaps because he's having flashbacks to getting stuck with a razor by the Viet Cong, and this is. I don't know if at this point in American, this was early '80s, if we fully understood what PTSD was yet, or we must have had some ideas.
I'm sorry, I'm going to push back on that because just because we didn't call it PTSD, we knew exactly what the F it was.
Oh no.
They used to call it shell shock.
Yes.
But everyone understood that because almost every woman knew a man, cared about and loved a man who came back from war and he wasn't the same. And when a car would backfire on the street and they would hit the deck and then get up and pretend, I'm just joking around, they knew they weren't joking around.
Yeah.
So many people know. have known what PTSD was since before they had a name for it.
I'm just saying they didn't have the official term.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's what I was thinking. But in fact, I don't know if it had been shown in film before. I guess it had, but I don't know. This might have been one of the first times I think people were showing it in like a movie. And he snaps, and then he's off to the woods. I want to make a point that we see Rambo as this big, violent man. In fact, there's even the line that says, "You just need one thing, what? A good supply of body bags." The colonel says. Yeah. But if you think about it, I don't think he kills a single person in this movie.
No,
if you pay attention,
Troutman is being is going worst case scenario because he really would like to diffuse this circumstance.
Well,
he is trying to scare them to let them know this is what could seriously happen. But the reality of it was Rambo was not trying to kill anybody. One person gets killed accidentally, and it's really because of his own escalation.
His own stupid, because the Rambo's in the woods and they're after him. They're bringing the copter down. He's like, and he's screaming, "I didn't do anything." He's saying, "I didn't do anything," and the guy's trying to shoot at him. And then I think Rambo does something, or I don't know if he maneuvers. I don't know if he throws something at the copter or if it somehow gets too close.
He threw a rock or something at the helicopter, which caused it to, the pilot had to maneuver. And this guy's leaning out of the chopper, firing a rifle. And it's like, first off, there is absolutely zero justification to be shooting into the woods at somebody when you are in zero danger.
Also, he's unarmed.
There is no... Whether he's armed or not, he's not armed with he hasn't started shooting at them. If he shot at him, then you would be justified shooting back. He's down there with a knife. And you're in a friggin' helicopter. There is no justification for using lethal force.
Let's see. Geek Flag brought up the fact that the sheriff saw the long hair and thought hippie, which a lot of people have long hair. And, not even if he was a hippie, he didn't deserve to be a costume.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's fine. That's fine. But you don't automatically... begin infringing on someone's civil liberties just because of their look.
Just because you don't
wait
like the
until
way
they
they
commit
look.
a crime and you charge them with the crime appropriately. If they never commit a crime, guess what? You know what business interacting with them, officer.
Well, you know what he was accusing about.
Military that when they came back, they just let their hair grow out because they're so tired of it being.
At this point, they didn't
cut.
care. Yeah.
I get it. And I remember what was it? Never mind, I forgot what I was going to say. But, I don't know, that tarp Stallone wearing was not a prop. He found it in the woods where they were filming and decided to put it on. Because I have to say, Sly Stallone, we think of him as the actor on screen, but he does a lot behind the scenes, too, with his stuff, too.
People don't realize that he didn't just play a boxer. He wrote that movie. He partly produced it, didn't he? Yeah. And he was the driving force behind that movie ever being made in the first place. That's why I have some real problems with what happened with when the property evolved into Creed. But yeah, he's the one out there not only making the movies, but look, he can do whatever he wants with them. If he decided to get preachy and people stop watching his movies, well, you know what? It's his own damn money. He's the one writing, directing, producing, starring in, paying for these things. He certainly deserves the profits that they make, but if they didn't. And that's what happens when you have skin in the games. You end up with classics because somebody who's got skin in the game wants it to be successful. When it's somebody else's money, they don't give enough.
Yeah. There's Troughton, right?
That's Troughton, yeah.
Played by I forget his name.
And here's the other thing. He was a last minute replacement. He was a last-minute replacement. I don't remember who the bigger name was that they had up for it. Was that? Oh, Richard Crenna. Yeah,
Richard Crenna. Thank you. Who's in Devil Dog Hound from Hell? I'm just saying. I was mentioning that movie the other day. He was also in that movie, The Evil, we watched a couple years ago. But yeah, that was
yeah.
the one with, with the horrible house, and it turns out old Nick was in the basement all along, right? And that he was the one messing with everyone. They originally wanted Clint Eastwood. Oh, that would have been interesting, Eastwood, in that role. I could see Eastwood in the Troughton role too. Yeah.
I feel like he'd have been too young, don't you think?
By the time, it's hard to say. This would have been around the time of Sudden Impact. Hard to say. I think Richard Crenna though was the better choice because he's more of a calming force because like he knows he's more like a liaison between John Rambo, these specialty soldiers, in the regular world.
Right.
Because he can at least talk to the police chief here and explain to him what's going on. But
was it? Maybe it was Kirk Douglas. I mean, somebody had actually come in and was going to play the role, but decided no, I want this changed, I want that changed, and they're like, no, you're not right for this role then. Yeah, exactly.
This is a look at this. Okay, so the movie ends with. Oh, go ahead.
Was in this scene? Wasn't he shooting up some lights or something like that? Yeah.
I argue he's blowing up half the town because it starts out he's in the woods and they won't let up. They bring in the who is it? Is it the National Guard or the Weekend Warriors as they're known as? They come in and they're like, well, I got to be in the office at 9 a.m. tomorrow or something, like on Monday. Like the guy's complaining because he's not used to being. Yeah. They bring all these guys in and they just make things worse. And Rambo sets up traps in the woods and they get like impaled on these things, but they don't die. It's like their legs get damaged. You understand? Right. He's actually not killing anybody, which I think is interesting. If anyone dies in it, it's because of their own stupidity or because of stuff they've done. And then Rambo is he's gone nuts, though. He wants to kill the sheriff. He's at this point. He is, as he calls him in the movie, this king shit sheriff is the one that started it. He drew first blood, not me. Right. And he's going to want to finish it. And like he blows up a couple buildings in town. He's shooting at things, and they have to send Troughton in to talk him down. And then he starts explaining, he starts going on a rant about how, I was in charge of $1 million equipment, and here I can't even hold a job washing cars. And he's getting angry. Yeah. And he's saying, and then he's saying, I come home and they call me baby killer. And he's saying all this stuff. And then he reveals his friend, his good friend when he was in Vietnam, and how the shoe shine kid came up to him and let me shine your shoe. And the guy was trying to be nice. Okay, you can shine my shoes. And he leaves the shoe shine kit there, and then it's a bomb. And his friend blows up in front of him, and he's basically covered in the remains of his friend.
Yeah, exactly.
And he is just wailing at this point. And at this point, you feel horrible for John Rambo. It's like he's finally letting it out. How he was mistreated in the war and at home and everything. Go ahead.
I think I've told this story before. I saw this movie in the cinema with my mother. My mother had somebody she cared about a great deal that went off to Vietnam, came back, and was telling her about what he went through. He was not boots on the ground like Rambo was. He was in the Air Force. So he flew a C-130. He was bringing in supplies and taking out the bodies. And as he would be landing the plane, the enemy had put up stakes with the heads of all the GIs that they had killed for him to see as he was landing. And these are the kinds of stories you don't hear about because we don't want anybody to feel like the enemy was the bad guy. We're the bad guy because we're the you can say we were the bad guy, we didn't belong there. I'm perfectly okay with that, but you just need to understand that doesn't make the other side completely blameless. And when you send your brothers, your husbands, your boyfriends, your fathers to war, you thought they were good men, and they still were, until people were trying to kill them in very horrible ways.
Yeah. And I'll say this: however we felt about the last wars we were in, like Afghanistan and Iraq, I think at least we learned that you don't treat your veterans, your soldiers, like crap when they come home.
No, apparently we haven't. Look at how we're still treating our soldiers, and we haven't learned not to get involved in those kinds of wars either, because we're doing it all over again.
Well, I'm not saying the institutions. I'm saying I think the average American got better.
I don't know. I see online everybody, oh, woohoo, let's go do it again. Okay.
Well, I meant as far as the treatment went, though. I mean, at least I didn't see it. I mean, I don't know, but then again, maybe I'm talking out of my butt here because I'm not.
No, because honestly, I feel like we have a generation of people that are, oh, thank you for your service, thank you for your service. Do you know how that feels when they say that? They don't. Oh yeah, absolutely. I serve. No. It hurts because those are meaningless, empty words to them.
Just treat them like a normal human being. Maybe that's what you do. That would be good. Which Rambo was not treated like in this movie.
Exactly.
And in fact, I'm not going to get into sequels right now. I'm going to talk about those at some other time. But like I remember in part 3, he's hanging out in Thailand. He's like, he was more at home in Thailand than he was in the United States because he's like, I can help out the monks with their temple here, the Tibetan monks. They're the Buddhist monks at the temple. They're going to leave me alone. I'll leave them alone. They're not treating me like. I mean, maybe I'm still a little bit an outsider here, but I'm less of an outsider here than I am at home. That's probably how he felt.
And that's pretty sad. Yeah.
Oh, I know about those people, Geek Flag, especially if I'm thinking of one particular group, which I'm not going to mention online, but that is awful. So, like I said, again, I can say that, but again, do I know? No, I don't, so food for my own thought, I guess. But, all right. So that was First Blood, though, but it has a wonderful... I love the sequel. Because in some ways, the sequel, it's like, oh, we've learned, and then they send him to go to get proof that there aren't soldiers being stuck over in Vietnam. And then he finds out that there are, and then the government abandons him again. Yeah. And the actor who played John Kreese is one of those guys that abandons him. Remember that? That was in the sequel.
That's right. Yeah, that's unfortunate because he actually was.
I'm sure he's a great guy in real life. He's just good at playing bad guys.
Everything I've heard about him in real life is he's a good guy. He's a decent actor. He really is. I think he could have been one of the great
action stars.
Stars.
Yeah.
But he did kind of end up regularly playing the villain role. But I'll be honest with you, it was a successful niche for him, and he did it well.
He was on Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. He would show up every now and then as the Shadow Assassin.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was interesting. His whole thing was, I think he could work in the dark and you wouldn't see him, but he knew like old martial arts that even Kane, he was the threat to Kwai Chang Caine, so
wow,
it was interesting. Yeah. But that was First Blood, and I thought I'd bring it up because we do have some Rambo news later, so we'll get into it.
Yes, we do.
And this is Geeky Geezers, and thank you, Geek Flag, for bringing up the Chew the Fat thing. I will look at that later. I'm very curious about that. All right, and now we get to our first story of the night, which unfortunately isn't in remembrance, and thanks Big Al for sending this to me. Clannad singer Moya Bernnan, dead at age 73. I don't know how familiar you are with Clannad.
I know it. I know Clannad from the soundtracks, the movies that they contributed to.
Yeah, so Moya Bernnan, singer and harpist for the New Age Celtic folk group Clannad, has passed away. A social media statement from Brennan's family says that she died at home in Donegal on Monday night, surrounded by family. According to The Guardian, Brennan had been living with pulmonary fibrosis in recent years. She was 73. Mayor Paloma ni Bernnan, the daughter of a musician and music teacher, was born in Dublin, but she grew up in the Donegal parish of Gweedore. Brennan, as she came to be known, studied at Dublin's Royal Irish Academy of Music. She had 8 younger siblings. In 1970, when Brennan was still a teenager, she formed Clannad with her brothers, Paul and Ciaran. I should know how to say these words, considering my heritage. Anyway, and her uncles, Noel and Padraig O'Dugan. A few years later, they signed on with Philips Records after winning first prize in a folk festival. Clannad released their self-titled album in 1973, and they continued to put out music through the 1970s with traditional Irish language folk. That's mostly sticking to a traditional Irish language folk. Brennan's younger sister, Ethne, known as Enya, joined Clannad in 1980, and she left 2 years to start her hugely successful solo career. Would that be Enya? I'm just saying. So that same year, Clannad had released theme from Harry's Game, their contribution to a TV series about the Troubles in Northern Ireland. The spacey ethereal song was a top 5 hit in both Ireland and the United Kingdom. Soon after that, they transitioned to singing lyrics in English. In 1984, Clannad won a BAFTA for soundtracking the TV series Robin of Sherwood. They had another hit with In a Lifetime, a 1986 duet with Bernnan and Bono. Their 1990 album Anam went gold in the U.S. thanks in part to a Volkswagen ad that featured the theme from Harry's Game, earning more exposure for the group. So, yeah, Clannad. I want to say it was almost like it's like a reinvention of folk, maybe Irish folk music, kind of. It was.
Reintroduction to it.
Reintroduction, maybe that's the better term for it. Yeah, I have their album Legend because, of course, a lot of the music on that was used in Robin of Sherwood.
Ah, yes.
Yes, and I love their Robin Hood song, and it was perfect theme song for Robin Hood. This group it had a very Celtic feel to it. So, rest in peace. Like I said, I've said this before. We're losing the greats.
And before he asks, when's the next time you're doing Robin of Sherwood on?
Maybe in May. I'll let him know.
Okay.
I gotta get through the next couple weeks, man.
Oh, your classes.
I just finished my major assignment. I turned it in today, so now I got to do my other major assignment. But Clannad was also featured. Oh?
Last of the Mohicans, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well that makes sense. Okay. And sure, the older sister, the world famous singer Enya. Okay, yeah, I thought so. I have to say, my favorite part, the Enya song "Sail Away," right? Is that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's probably one of her best known popular releases.
Did you ever see the American version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the David Fincher version?
I think Netter did.
I
didn't. Yeah.
There is a scene where the main character, Daniel Craig played in that, where he's getting tortured and the sadistic killer in it, you know what he's playing in the background? He's playing Enya Sail Away. It's like not the music you want to hear while someone's going to torture you to death, you know? It's like... it was like...
I believe the name of the song actually is Oinoko Flow, but yes.
Okay, well, whatever.
People might know it better if you say Sail Away. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we should know the terms. But, thank you, Deleted Scenes, for the prayer. So,
yeah.
Yes. But, yeah... rest in peace.
Yeah, I have a lot of Enya's albums, to be honest.
No, it's fine. It's just she's good.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep saying we're losing the greats.
Well,
except
here we
when
go.
the greats come back. What? This was the stop the presses moment this week.
Yeah.
I've talked about the Neo Geo on the stream before, I'm sure.
Yes, you have.
I will try to reiterate to you what this machine was. I consider this did this come out before Super Nintendo? Because it's one of the last of the classic gaming consoles. It's just the gaming console that no one could ever afford.
If you look at it, just that picture you got shown there, I can totally see that being a generation, the evolution from, say, like, Atari and television, all that kind of stuff, leading up to something like Nintendo and whatnot.
Oh yeah, and to be fair, I've often looked even as a Sega Genesis almost as like the successor to Atari, because I know a lot of Atari gamers ended up liking Sega more than Nintendo, which I thought was interesting. SNK is a completely... I'll try to explain to you what SNK was. SNK was an arcade game company. They made arcade games. And someone over there had the idea, we're going to make a system for our arcade games where you can take out these large cartridges and then just replace it with another cartridge. That way, if you own a like an arcade or a bar and you want to get a new game to put in the same deck, you just buy another cartridge and put in the deck rather than having to buy a whole new machine. Do you understand?
Right. Yeah.
And then they came up with this idea to also do that with a home version of that machine called the Neo Geo, which basically had the same guts as the arcade machine. Now the cartridges were a bit different. They were a little smaller. they were made more for home console use, so they had limited continues on the cartridges, I think. So they were slightly different than the arcade versions, but the hardware was basically the same. And they came with these very nice controllers, 4 buttons. I think the system cost, and this is back in early 90s money, this would be $650. And if you think that's bad, the game cartridges, I believe, were around $200. No one knew who sold these things. I looked online at old electronics boutique ads. You've heard of Electronics Boutique, right?
Sure.
The old, yeah, and it was actually in one of their ads, and the guy wrote the ad. You know, I knew people that worked here, and I never saw this in the store, but he saw it in the ad when he's doing this thing. This is, in fact, I've joked now. I think if James Bond were to own a game console, not that I see him owning a game console, this would be the game console he would own. These cartridges now go for a lot of money. Because they were expensive then, they're even more money now because, of course, they were very rare. I think some of these Neo Geo cartridges were sold and traded off like you would trade, like, diamonds or, like, a piece of artwork. Do you understand? Someone had it in a sealed, one of those sealed briefcases when they were doing the exchange. You understand?
Yeah.
Like security-wise, because some of these go for a lot of money. But a Saudi prince a few years back bought out SNK, or owned a controlling interest in it. And I would just like to say, leave it to a prince to know how to treat the customer like a king. Okay, so I'm going to explain this to you. And I'm saying this to Gen Z. If you ever wanted to get in on owning a premium game console, like the most premium of the old classic cartridge-based consoles, I mean, they couldn't. Super Nintendo and Genesis didn't come close to this. This is it. Let me read the article. I'm gushing about this too much. Okay, so the $250 Neo Geo Plus AES system aims to be a one-to-one replica of SNK's classic console. Well, it turns out the rumors of the Play on Replay creating a new Neo Geo system were bang on the money, as the company just announced the Neo Geo Plus Advanced Entertainment System AES. Launching on 12th November 2026, the Neo Geo AES, I'll give you the American dollar value, $249.99 for the console, considerably cheaper than it was in the early 90s, is a joint venture between Play on Replay, which is famous for its series of retro replica systems, including the 2600 Plus and the Atari 7800 Plus. Remember a few months ago I talked about that Pac-Man Atari system?
Yep.
The same people that are doing this. Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum as far as console power goes. And SNK, the originator of the system. Neo Geo was released in 1990 in AES Home MVS arcade formats, with both systems offering the same software and power level, something unheard of at the time. Yeah, because the whole idea is when you would buy a game console, is you wanted the arcade at home. You know, I go out and I play Space Invaders in the arcade. I want that in the Atari. Then you get it, and it's not quite the same, is it?
No.
Or you get Pac-Man, and it's definitely not the same.
Yeah.
And then you'd have home console ports that were more successful, and maybe they weren't as powerful or as good as the arcade version, but they were still pretty playable on their own. I'm thinking like early Genesis titles, like Golden Axe and Strider. They looked pretty good. Yeah. I mean, if you were to compare them to the arcade, no, they come short, but they were getting close. But this was something completely different. So the PR proudly states that this new console is based around 3 key ideas. No emulation. So that means this is not an emulation console. No compromise. No comparison. I quizzed Playalien about this first point. It's not software emulation. It might lead you to assume it uses FPGA chip hardware level emulation, right? No. Playon tells us the machine is powered by newly manufactured chips based on the original. This is the console again. This is them going back to the blueprints and recreating it. That's what it is. This is not... and to be fair, I don't have a problem with systems on a chip, like hardware emulation. They can work pretty well. I have an NES that does that. And sometimes emulation can be pretty good, but that's not what they're going for here. They are trying to do their best to recreate this classic console and its cartridges. These huge cartridges they released for it with the double pin sets in them. They are bringing this back. The original Neo Geo brains comprised a Motorola 6800 working with a Zilog 280A coprocessor, 2 chips that were common back in the 1990s and are still manufactured in 2026. Although any 68,000 shipped today is going to be a clone. Okay. Gameplay on the Neo Geo AES Plus is not achieved through emulation. That's the quote. So the console is powered by its legacy ASIC chips, re-engineered by modern standards to accurately replicate the original machine's hardware and software. The system natively plays game software from both new and old cartridges for most authentic retro game experience. So theoretically, you can get your old Neo Geo cartridges out if you're one of the people that own them, and you must be a rich man. Or you can buy the new cartridges. And actually, if you have an old system, you can probably buy the new cartridges and play those on the old system. It'll have new features. You can do low latency 1080p HDMI output, so you can play it on your high definition TV. On-screen BIOS selection. What is that? BIOS, B-I-O-S? You know that?
I don't know. It's a technical term I've never understood.
Is that I was going to say the geeks, but that should be us. Should
be.
Dip switches. Dip switches are interesting. Allow for territory, language selection, toggling, overclocked options, different display modes. Interesting.
I remember having dip switches on some of my old systems, yeah.
Yeah, they do. I think Atari had them, didn't it? As I recall. The console now offers low power usage as well as permanently saving gamers' high score saves for each game. Plan as that it intends to support the new system with a full ecosystem of games and accessories, which will offer fans a chance to build their ultimate collection of arcade classics with all the authenticity but none of the prohibitive costs associated with the system and software. Now, the titles being released with the system will be in American dollars, $89.99 each. And I know I complain about the $80 video game, but I understand why these are $90 because these are recreation cartridges. The expense is coming from the cartridges themselves. This isn't a thing they're burning on a CD. This has actual electronics and pins in it.
Right.
In fact, I was doing some research. What would a Super Nintendo cartridge cost me today? They were $59.99 back in the 90s. Just for inflation, they'd be $130 now. And I know I yell at the inflation argument all the time, but with this, I kind of get it. And these are a lot cheaper than what they sold them for back in the day, where they were $190. I think they were $200 at the minimum when they came out back.
Yeah. So comparatively speaking, they're effectively cheaper. That is interesting. Yeah.
It's going to launch with 10 titles: Metal Slug, The King of Fighters 2002. Guru Mark of the Wolves, Big Tournament Golf. Apparently, Big Tournament Golf, known as Neo Turf Masters, will also have Scotland included. Like they're adding a Scotland selection or something of courses.
Nice.
So if you're into golf, Shock Troopers, Samurai Showdown 5, Special, Polestar, Twinkle Star Sprites, Magician Lord, Over the Top. I'm sure you've heard of none of these games. Anyway, but this is a big deal. You'll be able to. There are going to be a bunch of accessories. You can get the arcade stick, a one-to-one replica of the original arcade controller. Look at that arcade stick there. If you see that, it had a clicky stick on the side and 4 buttons, because that's how you would play them. These were very premium controllers. Unlike Capcom fighting games where you'd use 6 buttons to play them, Neo Geo fighting games used 4. They were big on fighting games on this console, though it's not the only kind of game that came out for this system, but it was big on the fighting games. Those were the most popular. Popular games on it were like King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, Samurai Showdown, as they mentioned, and Gamepad 1-to-1 replica original comes with classic micro SIP thumbstick and 4-button layout. So this is impressive. You can get the main console for $249.99. You can get an anniversary edition for $269.99 that comes with which is a white console that comes with a special memory card and a white Metal Slug game cartridge. And there's also an Ultimate Edition for $999, which is a lot, but it comes with all 10 launch games, a memory card, 2 arcade sticks, 1 wired, 1 wireless, a gamepad, and special packaging. So you get 3 controllers, all 10 games, and the system. And it comes out November 12th. So, I know I'm harping on this a bit. Am I going to get this? Probably not. I say probably not, okay? Because it is still pricey, even at $89.99 a cartridge. But I am going to say, if I were like starting out fresh, like if, heaven forbid, a hurricane came in tomorrow and wiped out all my worldly possessions and I had to start over, this would be a cool thing to start over with.
Yeah.
Because I already have a lot of video games, and the idea of me having to collect these cartridges that are book size. These things literally look like books on your shelf. That's how big the cartridges are for this thing.
Right.
But this is just super cool, though. And Gen Z, if you're listening, You often complain that you missed out on things. You didn't get to experience the joy of buying physical media and things like that. And you don't like the
Here's your
digital
chance.
age. And now, if you want, you can get this physical console. I know the cartridges are $90, but keep in mind, adjusted for inflation, I think it's still cheaper than a cartridge would have cost you back in the 90s, and not on the Neo Geo, just on like the Super Nintendo or Genesis. So I'm just saying, if you were interested, this is a path for you to go down. Now, I will say this: I can't get this because I'm obsessive with things. You know how people in the toy community are obsessed about getting all the action figures.
Sure.
I'm sort of that way with games. I went really nuts with NES cartridge buying a few years ago, and this would be a pricey hobby, but not as pricey as it used to be. I'll say that this actually is more affordable than it's be. So. Capcom coming back strong. Everyone is streaming the game. Pigmata, and yes, I know. But is Capcom bringing out? Actually, I am going to have some. Actually, I am going to have some retro news for Capcom this summer because there's a company out there making a plug-and-play console with a bunch of Capcom arcade games on it. So that might be more.
So let me draw a comparison here.
Yes.
It sounds to me like what they're doing with this game system is what I see some car restorers do.
Yes.
We've talked about this a little bit with Michael French when we were talking about his DeLorean. How DeLorean was not. It was a cool looking car, very iconic, but had some inherent flaws. And modern people, as they restore them, go, I could do this and I could do that and I could use these new components and whatnot it'll effectively be the same car, but it'll run so much better, so much more fuel efficiently. The electronics won't be all full of suck, and so I've always said, why doesn't Chevy re-release something like a modern, updated, but looking identical to the old '57 Chevy Bel Air?
Why not?
Why
don't they do it?
I don't know.
Because I'll explain to you why, and I've done a lot of thought on this. I was making the joke at the beginning, it takes a Saudi prince to know how to treat the customer like a king. In the old days, customers used to be treated like the king. Okay?
Right.
We're selling you the product. We want you to feel. Because, let's be honest with you, this is a status symbol. Owning this in a library would be a status symbol for people in the know. And to be fair, it's not really something I can afford, even though I do think that I actually do think for what this is a reasonable cost, considering what these things used to cost back in the day.
Sure.
These games probably will go up in value over time anyway, so even if you're looking at it as an investment. But I do think it is a status symbol, and I think part of the problem is companies do not look at their customers like kings or lords or nobles. I think they look at them like peasants, and I think they look at the shareholders like the shareholders are the kings.
Yeah.
And that's who they're trying to please. They're not trying to please the customers anymore. They're releasing this is to please the customer. A game console could be a status symbol. I remember when the Sega Genesis launched back in the 90s, they designed that to look like a high-end piece of electronics that you would get with you would get a nice stereo system or a big screen TV. Do you understand? Like, this was something you wanted in your house. And I feel, and you were mentioning cars a minute ago, that I think that this has been lost over time, that you would buy the car as a status symbol. Look at my new '57 Chevy, right?
Exactly.
And I think over time it's more about, in the case of Nintendo these days, it's about customer abuse.
Kinda.
Or
You're not wrong.
Sony or Microsoft ripping us off and just making stupid decisions and doing all this stuff for the shareholders. And I'm like, I just want to be treated well. I want, if I go into a restaurant, I want to be. It's like anything. You want to be treated. If you want my money, you have to treat me a certain way. Do you understand?
Right, exactly.
It's like when you have a rich person going to town, and for some reason, I think this has been lost by a lot of companies over the years, and I think that's what this reminded me of. And I do think, Sega, if you're listening and paying attention, I won't be getting this, even though I do think this is super cool. And those of you inclined to pick this up, hey, go ahead and do it, because this looks super cool. But I tell you, if they do a Genesis re-release, maybe we don't charge $90 for those cartridges. Maybe do something closer to what they were back in the day. But I might be tempted because I never had a chance to own a Genesis library. I've gotten the mini consoles, I've gotten digital collections, but I never owned those cartridges because I was a Super Nintendo kid. My brother had the Genesis, so and that was the other great console at the time. So that might be it. And I got to tell you, I think the kids out there might be into this stuff. I think you could re-release these old consoles, especially when these new consoles are apparently too expensive for anybody to afford. Maybe go that route. Maybe Nintendo, if you had a brain, re-release the old Game Boy and see if kids would buy it.
And I think there's another area of business, another piece of business wisdom that I think has been completely lost. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, it's really not that difficult. It's really not.
The simple thing is this: no emulation, no compromise, no comparison.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying here. And they're basically saying, and I know the $90 cartridges, that probably sounds like a lot, but we are making sure that there is no compromise in the quality of these things that we're selling. And that's the point. And I get it. And other companies could at least take, if they want to come up with cheaper options, they could do the same. To be fair, the Atari 7800 Plus is a cheaper option. I think those cartridges are being sold for what they probably would have cost back in the days of the original Atari, you know. But I just think this is super cool. And I think companies need to go back to looking at us as, as the paying customer that you need to treat with respect. There you go. Oh, and Geek Flag, thank you for the $2.
Yeah, Netter's checking her Twitter DMs right now.
All right. So that is the Neo Geo. In the meantime, I will happily play my Neo Geo little cartridges with the 6 games on my Evercade that I only had to pay $30 for. And I got 6 games. A cartridge. But, of course, those are the arcade versions, not the home versions. But I hope they don't stop making those. He-Man is getting delayed. Not the movie, the game.
Yes.
He-Man's stunning-looking beat-em-up delayed just 2 weeks before release. He-Man and the Master of the Universe Dragon Pearl Destruction is one of the most anticipated releases for the Switch this year, but no more perfect a marriage between side-scrolling beat-em-up and IP in mind. And after Bitmap Bureau's Terminator 2D No Fate, we're eager to see how they handled another 80s icon. We'll have to wait a little longer, as publisher Limited Run Games has announced the game will now release in the summer. This comes just 2 weeks before He-Man's original release date of the 28th of April. I'm wondering if they're releasing this to coincide with the movie.
Actually, that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know. Because the movie looks like a live-action version of the cartoon, right? At least to some degree. So
to some degree.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, okay? You have Jared Leto as Skeletor instead of the guy with the high...
And I think that's probably the least of its problems to be.
We'll see. I don't know. Like I said, Midnight's Edge, they were mixed on it. I'm curious. It's their movie to screw up, but I don't know. This beat 'em up looks kind of neat. So if you're a He-Man fan, you have to wait a little longer for it. But I mean, it looks like fluid animation, like it's from the cartoon itself. In fact, it might be more fluid than the cartoon if I'm thinking about it. So that's it. But it's interesting. Bitmap Bureau, I brought them up. Did you know they've released games? They actually released a couple of their indie games, and they actually made them on actual Neo Geo cartridges that you could play on the Neo Geo. So who knows? Maybe they'll get released on this new Neo Geo system coming out. They did Xeno Crisis, which is like a game where you shoot at aliens. It's basically aliens. It's like an alien.
Was that the side-scroller one? And in the arcade, they had like you could have 3 different players playing.
You're thinking of Xenophobe.
Gotcha. But
Xenophobe is also pretty cool. I love Midway arcade games, but yeah. Which I guess back in the day were still Atari arcade games before the company split off. Now Warner Brothers owns Midway, and thus. Pokemon card releases spiral out of control with shootings and police chases. Be extremely careful. Apparently Netter knows a bit about Pokemon.
She does. I think I said basically Pokemon cards can get you shot.
It's actually true. Netter, were your kids into Pokemon cards back in the day? Is that how you know about this?
My son liked them. In fact, it's because of him I had started collecting them myself. Oh. So when they're the big rage, I'd get a bunch of packs. I'd give him half. I'd take the other half, and I actually have a complete set of the base set. Complete with the Charizard, still in its hollow. It's the hollow Charizard, still in its cello wrap. I never took it out of there, and they're in a binder, pristine, never played.
There
Well, I really wish you hadn't said that live on air, because you might be getting some guys in masks coming to your house later tonight. No,
Well.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, or am I joking? That's the disturbing
Are they
part.
related to the Pinkertons? Just wondering.
I'm just going to say, if you ever want to sell these or bring them to a convention, just be careful, because apparently I was unaware of this. People are nuts for these right now. I didn't know that. Okay, let me read the article. Pokemon card releases have gotten out of control, with police chases happening and GPS tracking devices being deployed as people go nuts. Things have gotten so crazy that cops are now investigating after someone was shot over the cards at an Indianapolis Kroger store. According to a preliminary investigation conducted by the Minneapolis Metropolitan Police Department, a disagreement over Pokemon cards motivated the shooting. Someone called officers to the Kroger on the near east side of Indianapolis just before 7 p.m. on April 11th in response to a report of a shooting victim. When they arrived, the officers discovered a man with the gunshot wounds in the Kroger parking lot. WTHR News reports that paramedics took the man to a hospital in serious but stable condition. Hospital staff later informed the police that the victim had surgery and is now in stable condition. I had this horrible thought of, like, the Pokemon Bowl on the card, and like now there's a bullet hole in one of them.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Or
just like a deck of Pokemon cards with a bullet hole through it, like the Joker from Batman.
That's probably where the idea came from, actually. Yeah. In another instance of just how nuts it has gotten with Pokemon cards, vendors recently found that someone had placed GPS tracking devices on their vehicles on the first day of an expo. Some seriously bad news at the TCG community after an amazing first day of the expo. A few vendors came outside and discovered GPS tracking devices placed on their vehicles. This is what I'm talking to you about, Netter, okay? I'm just giving you a heads up, because apparently if they see you have Pokemon cards, they'll put a GPS tracking device under your car while you're in the convention.
Yeah.
And we immediately came together and contacted police. They're actively dealing with it now. A vendor with the handle Pokestop 519 wrote, after about 20 minutes of checking vehicles, we noticed a suspicious car sitting in the back of the parking lot with no license plate. And as we approached it, the driver sped off, jumps 2 curbs, and took off. Most likely, these were the individuals responsible for placing the tracking devices. This is a reminder to everyone in the hobby. Please be extremely careful when attending shows, leaving venues, and heading home. Stay aware of your surroundings, travel in groups when possible, and don't take chances.
Honestly, that's good advice at all times.
Yeah.
In yet another case, Pirates and Princess reports that someone threw coffee on a cart full of prismatic SPC cars. A car hit the cart, and the car ran over the boxes at a Pokemon card drop. That incident resulted in police giving chase. I'm sure
it will what?
Cards, and said this.
You might want to back up, Boomer, because you've...
No, sorry. Did I break up?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, you got as far as Pirates and Princesses reported on the destroying the cards.
Let me repeat.
And, yeah.
Let me know if this keeps happening. Am I on the right?
Yeah.
Okay, thing. I'm supposed to be on the better hookup here. Let me know if I do it again.
Okay.
Pirates and Princess report someone threw coffee on a cart full of prismatic SPC cars. A car hit the cart, and the car ran over boxes at a Pokemon card stop. That incident resulted in police giving chase. A recent report by CNN claims things have gotten so out of hand that an international crime spree has been ignited by Pokemon cards. On March 7, 2 thieves smashed through a window at a store in Graham, Washington. In less than 2 minutes, they made off with nearly $10,000 worth of Pokemon cards. Another card shop robbery in March in Abbotsford, British Columbia, resulted in thieves stealing $25,000 worth of Pokemon cards. Also this year, thieves have hit collectible shops in Las Vegas, New York City, Vancouver, Nottingham, England, resulting in over $500,000 in stolen cards.
Jeez.
Netta, have you gotten your set appraised, just out of curiosity?
I haven't. It's actually been sitting in a, I call them memory boxes. It's basically a big crate.
Don't say where you keep it.
Well, which is honestly the best case scenario for collectibles, right? Because you take them, you have them, you know you have them, you pack them away, you forget about them. Yeah. Years and years later, you pull them out, they're in pristine condition because they haven't been touched and they've been covered, and you go, wow.
Well, I did, just for spits and giggles, I kind of Googled the Charizard, Holo, and Cello.
Yeah.
And I mean, supposedly there's variations on this thing. It's like shadowless and this thing.
Yeah, and we
that
don't
thing.
know which version
And
she's got.
I have no idea what it is. But some of them can be worth anywhere from $50,000 up.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, there's my retirement right there.
And what's weird is you
go.
got to be careful because the chances you have the one that's that value is probably almost certainly not. It's like, oh wait, I've got an Action Comics #1. Oh wait a minute, it's a reprint. It's got a Nestle Quick advert on the back.
I remember that. I got that one. Remember that? I got that.
Exactly.
I mailed in for it, and it had it had a comic with Superman meets the Nestle Quick bunny. You got that, and you got the replica Action Comics #1. I remember that.
This is exactly how I rip on the toy collectors who get all bent out of shape about so-called repros. The Kenner collectors that hate on Stan Solo for his reproduction Blue Snaggletooth. It's like you're the same kind of moron that thinks that you have an Action Comics #1 despite the fact that it has a Nestle Quick ad on the back, don't you? It's like what I'm basically saying is, if you can't tell, something that's clearly marked as a repro, something that clearly has Stan Solo's stamp on every single figure, and you're trying to sell it as an original, you're the shyster, not him.
There you go. This is disturbing, though. I mean, I used to work at a southern book chain that will go unnamed on the stream when I was a younger man. And I remember we were selling these things called Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Were you aware of those?
Yes, I do know about Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were like the like Pokemon the next step or something. And we had to be very careful how we would sell them at the registers. We would have them, I think, behind a locked thing near the register, and we would get them when people wanted cards, we would get them out and then lock the case again, and the case was in clear view. At some meeting, one of the idiot higher-ups of this chain came in and said that they don't like the case being by the front of the store. They want the case. They want the case with the valuable Yu-Gi-Oh cards and other things to be kept by the service desk in the middle of the store. And I think I remember voicing my thinking this was a bad idea. We shouldn't do this. It's kept secure up front, because I don't know if I worded this exactly meaning or if I thought this, but I remember saying this is inviting theft.
It is, yeah.
Guess what happened? Luckily, I was not the one on the service desk when this happened, but apparently, because I had been at the register that night, but apparently someone was up at the service desk, because of course a customer asks you, where can I find this book, and where is this, and you have to leave the desk and get off and go look. Right. So the desk was unmanned, the case was still locked, but of course someone managed to, I guess, saw through the plexiglass and made off with hundreds of dollars of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I guess
I've been hearing from Marc Malnekoff that the dilithium mines have been having a very similar situation with cards at his place of employment.
That's interesting. What is it with these cards that make them so valuable? I mean, I'm not knocking people on their hobby. I'm just surprised. I mean, I know Magic the Gathering cards, they can be quite pricey too.
I can answer that question for you, but it's highly contentious, and I think a lot of people would be quick to disagree with me, but we have to deal in the realm of reality. These cards, this concept of collecting cards is addictive. It is addictive. And just like streaming, just like getting hits and likes and all that kind of stuff, you get that little dopamine hit, and that's why you keep doing it, even though you keep asking yourself, why the hell do I keep doing this?
So it's like stamps or coins.
Exactly.
I mean, I know coins can sometimes have the monetary value in them too,
but the difference being, and there's the hope, which brings in the gambling element of it, right? That you're hoping that you will get that one very, very rare, I can retire on it card and so forth.
Buffalo nickel or something. Oh, I saw. Okay.
But of course, if you start saying, if you start pointing this out, there's entities that would not want that kind of information getting out, because that means, you mean we are contributing to an addiction for children, right? So, just
Well, I mean, I will say this: it's something tangible you can hold, unlike
there is
the
that.
loot boxes and games, which are completely worthless.
Well,
You can't
that's
get
true.
addicted to those,
That's
but
true.
I just didn't know that there was all this crime surrounding this, and it's apparently it's becoming a big thing. So that's why I wanted to warn Netter here. Just be careful with those cards. You know.
Yeah, exactly right.
I just you know,
Yeah,
don't kill
anytime
people.
there's cards out, like you said, Magic, Pokemon, whatever, or even like Horror Clicks and Hero Clicks.
Yeah.
People would shoplift those all the time because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I need to get, like this one card that I don't have yet. So they just shoplift the packs and hope that, it's in one of those because they don't want to pay for them.
Yeah.
Boy, I thought I had collecting problems.
Well, but
Okay.
here's something else that I was kind of surprised. Maybe I missed it in what you were reading, but this whole idea of destroying valuable cards. Sure, you're not stealing them. What you're doing is you're destroying someone else's, and then the value of yours goes up because
Yes, it's the Goldfinger idea of me, nuking Fort Knox so the gold is worthless and my gold becomes more valuable, right?
exactly
In the movie,
Exactly
it was
right.
different in the book, but yeah. So yeah, that's this is just some This is flat out disturbing me. Let's move on to something less disturbing. I'm sorry, this is not. Oh, never mind.
Is this less disturbing? I don't know.
Oh, dude, I watched the trailer for this. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if this is a Netter movie.
Probably
Okay, the first teaser trailer for Ice Cream Man, the next horror film from director Eli Roth, has been released. The slasher will be released on August 7th in 2,000 North American venues. The film is set in an idyllic summer town of Balin Bay, which descends into madness when an ice cream man serves kids from his truck with horrifying results. The 30-second teaser trailer showcases a group of children descending into madness, looming over sleeping parents, making snow angels in a pool of blood, and holding down a woman as one of them takes a bat to her stomach, while the slogan, "I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream," flashes across the screen. Ice Cream Man stars Ari Millen from Orphan Black as the titular deliverer of sweet treats. I guess he was on Orphan Black, along with Benjamin Byron Davis from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Dylan Hawko, Heartland, Kiro Mizo Waldman, Charlie Zebler, The Handmaid's Tale, and Sarah Abbott from Netflix's The Body. Ice Cream Man is Roth's first film under the horror section's banner. Following the company's launch in March 2025, Roth will also co-produce and co-write the script for it for Ice Cream Man with his longtime collaborator Noah Beslin. So this is a Killer Kids movie. That's what this is.
Yep.
We've seen these before. Last one I saw like this was a British film called The Children, where it's a virus that's making the children turn homicidal, and I just don't know. This trailer looked freaky because first they're just looking like little psychopaths, and then like there's one scene where it looks like they're jumping off the playground and they're hoarding like zombies toward the people, or more like the infected from 28 Days Later. It's freaking me out. I don't know. It looks disturbing. But I wanted to follow up because I was curious about it.
I mean, what could be more horrifying than influencing our children to pretty much destroy our society? Oh, wait a minute. Kind of living through that, aren't we?
Well, maybe that's what Eli Roth is commenting on in this sly way.
Maybe.
He's not. There are little things in his movies. If you dig deep, they're in there. His little things. Yeah. All right. So the fact that might be the subtext of the whole movie. Okay.
Very, very true. Yes.
We had the trailer for Street Fighter movie come out this week.
Mm-hmm.
No Kylie Minogue though. So sorry.
Which is a shame. Yeah.
She was in the original. I almost said Good Old Days on the Street Fighter movie, the one with Raul Julia.
Yeah.
Which is I think is a kind of a brilliant parody type movie.
Yeah.
Raul Julia has this scene in it where Chun-Li is explaining about how My father defended my village, but then you shot him as you left, a hero at 50 paces or whatever. And like, she's like, and like Raul Julia says, I'm sorry, I don't remember any of it. I know for you the day Bison came to your village was the most important day of your life, but for me it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
like that's how evil
Exactly.
he is. Like when he did these terrible things.
Exactly.
He's ridiculous in that movie. He's up there with Doctor Evil in big screen movies that I find hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
But the official Street Fighter movie trailer is out, and fans of the game's campier aspects will not be disappointed. Others might be. I'm okay with it being campy. That might be the way to
Absolutely.
go. Ken Masters, played by Noah Centino, is undeniable champion of the upcoming Paramount Pictures film with the whole cast of Capcom Street Fighter 2 characters is here. Andrew Koji as Ryu, Kalina Liang as Chung Li, Joe Roman Reigns in WWE as Akuma. Akuma's going to be in this.
Mm-hmm.
David Desmalkian as M. Bison, Cody Rhodes as Guile, Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki, Eric Andre as Don Savage, Viet as Dal Sim. Okay, Viet Jamal as Dal Sim. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Balrog, who was really supposed to be Mike Tyson,
Right.
Jason Momoa as Blanca. Of course Jason Momoa is Blanca.
Right.
Who else would be Blanca? This is ridiculous. And Orville Peck as Vega. I don't know. I'm very curious about this movie. Set in 1993. Oh, look at this. They're even setting it in the time period.
Yeah.
Estranged Street Fighters Ryu and Ken Masters are thrown back into combat when the mysterious Chun-Li recruits them for the next World Warrior tournament. A brutal clash of fists, fate, and fury, the film's logline reads. But behind this battle royale lies a deadly conspiracy that forces them to face off against each other and the demons of their past. And if they don't, it's game over. I like that one that says, I know I saw Ryu just make a fireball appear out of him. I know I saw that. It's legit. Lynn Green says this one looks good. So does Godzilla -0. 4 to 5 movies I want to see this year. Maybe we're getting some decent movies, even they're not coming from traditional sources.
Well, now that Hollywood realizes that if they don't start pulling a profit, they're going to go out of business completely. Maybe that's exactly what's happening.
The best live-action G.I. Joe movie. Are you referring to the original Street Fighter movie? It's funny you mention that because later on, like with the G.I. Joe toy line, they actually introduced the Street Fighter characters into G.I. Joe.
That's
they're
right,
part of
they
that
did.
universe.
Yeah.
And they said, well, Cobra has Street Fighters too, and they showed M. Bison. Like M. Bison and the bad guys join Cobra. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Which
that makes
I can
perfect
actually see G.I. Joe and Street Fighter existing in the same universe.
I can too. I absolutely can.
So I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to this. I know it's odd. I mean, the best fighting game adaptation movie will always be DOA Dead or Alive, if you've seen that, but you don't know what that one is, do you?
I don't think so.
It
I kind of have a fuzzy image in front of me of the cover of it, but I don't.
Okay, the Dead or Alive video games are known for having very nice-looking ladies in them as fighters, and this one, I think Jamie Priestley was one of the people in it, actresses in it, Devon Aoki, and had Eric Roberts as the main villain in it too, which was hilarious. I'm sorry. And I think it was directed by the guy that did the fight choreography for the Matrix. It was another goofball fighting game movie, but I enjoyed it when it came out. But yeah, but I don't know. I think that I know some serious Street Fighter people might think they're not treating it with respect, but I mean, the movie looks way better than the Mortal Kombat movie. Oh.
I think the people that feel that way are probably taking it too seriously, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I think, and it's following Ken and Ryu as the main characters this time around, because they are the main characters of this game.
Right.
And here we have some news. David Harbour joins Noah Centineo in action movie John Rambo.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Now, if memory serves, they had always talked about doing a prequel movie to the Rambo series, and maybe that's what this is.
That sounds like exactly what it is. Yeah.
So, like, the Stranger Things stars is a late addition to John Rambo. Lionsgate Millennium Media's action feature being directed by Jamari Haylander and Helmer behind grimy and gritty Sisu movies. Templeton and HBO are involved in the production. An origin story takes place before the events of First Blood, the Sylvester Stallone starring movie that kicked off Rambo franchise. John Rambo stars Noah Centineo as John Rambo, who will one day become the man who just wants to be left alone, but here is a soldier fighting a war in the jungle. In a key role, Harbour is playing Major Troughton, Rambo's commanding officer. What do you think?
Maybe, yeah. Probably not bad casting. Yeah. I mean, regardless of how I feel about this guy off screen, he's done pretty well on screen, and he fits the bill pretty well. Yeah.
Stallone is still executive producer on this, so he's involved.
Good.
I guess.
Good.
Okay, so that's
so
good.
It's probably going to be worth watching.
Yeah. The original Rambo trilogy released in the 80s, the role was played by Richard Crenna as a character who was only a calming influence in the one-man fighting force. They could do a whole trilogy just based on his time in Vietnam, probably.
Now, I will be very interested to see who they cast as John Rambo. That'll be...
I think they mentioned the actor. I just haven't seen what he looks like yet. But I'll keep my fingers crossed on this. The fact that the director sees who is making this film was enough for me. Oh, you really like that one, yeah. Richard Meyer and Stallone already did it in comic book form. Maybe this is based on that version. Maybe it'll be a different story from that time, or it'll be I don't know. Maybe it'll still. I don't know.
Unfortunately, that comes from an era when they were doing comic book films because they just couldn't get the live action done for budgetary reasons or a number of reasons. That's why we have a season 11 of Smallville. We have whatever the next season was for Buffy the Vampire Slayer done in comic book form.
Yeah. Critical Drinker did a Troutman prequel story. I heard about that. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, I would never have thought of a story about Troutman, but why not? Yeah.
What would Troutman era have been? Would that have been Korean War or maybe World War II? Probably Korean, yeah. So, I think this looks good. I'm being honest. Okay, I mean, I'll keep my fingers crossed. And Lionsgate, they produced the last couple of Rambo movies. They did the John Rambo and the last one that came out. So, I think John Rambo, that was the one that was in Thailand. Not Thailand, my mistake. Starts out in Thailand. He goes into Burma. Which is because there's some Christian. First, he's asked by some Christian missionaries, "Look, can you help us out? We want to save this village." And and he's like, "Unless you're bringing guns, you're not saving anything." He says that, and But he drops them off, and unfortunately, they're doing good work over there. But then the Burmese soldiers come in and mess things up, and they kidnap the missionaries, and so they hire Rambo. Can you go in with some other mercenaries and please save them? And it's this whole movie's a bloodbath, but it's an interesting.
Yeah,
it's a good film, but it's one of the more violent Rambo movies I've seen, and the Rambo movies are pretty violent.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the kid in Atom Smasher in Black Adam. Oh, that's interesting. That's who's playing Rambo. Okay. Like I said, there were parts of Black Adam I liked. I thought the Justice people were actually kind of interesting. I made a joke at the time that we're seeing Hawkman and Dr. Fate, and they're talking about these adventures they went on in the past, and I'm like, can I see that movie, please?
Yes, exactly. Exactly right.
It's like, instead of this Black Adam movie I'm watching, because that one sounds pretty good, but okay. Okay, and of course here are the other movies. A lot of movies announced this week at CinemaCon, and maybe some good stuff here. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Paddington movies. Troy, if you and Netter haven't checked out the Paddington movies yet, you're in for a treat. And they're fun. They're actually, and this is we used to say this back in the day. These movies truly are fun for the whole family, whether you're a kid or an adult. You'll love the Paddington movies. Right. All right. You're aware of the Paddington character, right? From
England, of course I am. I've read the books. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
I read them as a child. Yeah.
Right at home. Like they made a point about Paddington in Peru, how they always mentioned how he came from Peru and visited Peru, but they decided let's set a movie in actual Peru.
Yeah.
It even had Antonio Banderas as like this insane, like I don't want to say insane, but kind of insane, like a tour boat, like he's having to lead them into the Amazon on this boat, and like it's a good movie. Anyway, Paddington 4: Escape from New York reboot in the works at Studio Canal. I know I'm going to make this joke for the third time.
I like that. Paddington 4: Escape from New York. Yeah,
I thought that's what the movie was going to be, and I'm
honestly,
like, yes, please.
somebody needs to do an AI version of Paddington Bear: Escape from New York.
Yes. Escape from New York reboot. How do you? I don't know. I don't know. Of course, with the way New York's going, that may end up being.
I mean, you could see him
Set
coming
it in the
over
present.
from England or whatever, and looking around. He's fleeing what's going on in England. He gets to New York and he realizes it's exactly the same thing. So he's desperately trying to get out of New York.
He's gonna go back to Peru. Just say, forget this.
Well, the problem is that they might discover oil in Peru, and
Well, there you go.
then he finds himself in the same problem.
He knows how to make marmalade, so he doesn't have to stay in England now. Because that was his big draw.
That's true. That is true.
The production company CEO and Canal Plus Chief Content Officer Hannah Marsh was joined Executive VP Global Marketing District Hugh Spring for the presentation Monday at CinemaCon kicked off in Las Vegas with its major event. Among news shared in this presentation was Marsh announcing that a fourth film in the Paddington franchise is currently in development. The exec noted that a team of comedy writers are attached to pen the script, although the names of the scribes were not shared. I'm sure it's fine. I've liked the last three movies.
I also hate thinking about films like this as so-called franchises. It's like, can we stop with the franchise?
It's a series.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a series, not a franchise.
I
Speaking also announced that the company is partnering with the picture company in developing a reimagining of John Carpenter's 1981 cult favorite, Escape from New York. Kurt Russell starred in the original as prisoner Snake Plissken, who will be granted a pardon if he can rescue the president from insurgents. I don't know if I'm on board with that, but we'll see.
Yeah, this seems like it could go really, really, really bad. This could go really bad.
Oh, and apparently he's also told the crowd at Studio Canal he's developing a reimagining of the horror flick The Howling. Okay. And additionally, Spearing noted that director Sean Byrne's original thriller, The Mannequin, will begin production this summer with Oscar-winning star Melissa Leo. Oh, that's interesting. Why is it called The Mannequin? Is it about mannequins that come to life and attack people?
I don't know.
I
hope not, because that sounds horrifying.
Can't they just turn into Kim Cattrall and make us happy?
I know, right?
It's like, okay. The presentation featured first look at trailer for Eli Roth's horror movie Ice Cream Man, hitting theaters August 7th. Other projects debut footage were Danny Boyle's Rupert Murdoch-focused Ink, Elisnor, the biopic of Scottish actor Ian Charleston that stars Andrew Scott and Olivia Colman. I do like her. And the Taron Egerton-led Everybody Wants to... I can't say that word on the family stream. Everyone Wants to Blank Me. You can't have that in your title. Right?
I mean, if it's true...
Okay.
I got to be careful. I can make a really crash joke right now, but I'm not going to do it. Okay. Anyway, I can't take Snow more. I know they're going after this stuff. Reimagine this. I don't know about an Escape from New York reimagining. I don't know what the point is. In fact, I'd be more excited if it was just a movie that took place in the Snake Plissken universe, and if they got a new actor, fine. Even though Kurt Russell's
why does it specifically have to be Snake Plissken?
It could just be, or just have him escaping from another city, because they made a point in Escape from L.A. You've escaped from New York. You've escaped. I think they named a couple other cities. I think one of them was Chicago. I don't know what was going on in Chicago in the.
See, if you're gonna do a reimagine, go back and do a prequel of Escape from Chicago. That would be good.
There we go. But they'll likely change it. Well, of course they do, because they know better.
Right.
Please don't. All right. But I don't know. I think Paddington 4. Yeah, I'm on board. Let's do it.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Wendy is in tears on the title of this article right here.
Yes.
What is going on with Wendy's?
Wendy's is pretty much going out of business, but that's true of just about all fast food places at this point. The pandemic was pretty much the nail in the coffin. These companies have just been zombie companies ever since.
Yeah, well, that's because it hurt them a lot. Right now, as you read this story, a Wendy's somewhere is closing in February. The chain announced that it would shutter at least 300 locations in the first half of 2026. In a ketchup tinted bloodbath that followed a shocking 11.3% drop in the store sales, the industry's key measure of year-over-year growth at the end of last year, whatever the final death tally, the losses will add up somewhere around 5 to 6% of Wendy's total store count. Is that a lot? That sounds like a lot.
Sounds like a lot to me.
They have a good sausage biscuit on their breakfast menu. I've gotten that on occasion. But yeah. Not all of this is the company's fault. Other big-name fast food chains like Pizza Hut and Papa John's will also be closing hundreds of stores this year, owing factors to a tough operational environment of higher supply costs, increased competition, and inflation bitten customers.
There's a few things to unpack there. Let's start with the fact that they've allowed themselves to get into this situation by allowing some really shady things to go on in with the distribution companies of our foods. It should scare the hell out of you if you really dug into it and knew what was going on. You'd be horrified. You would be. They also clearly just glossed over the fact that these companies have not been able to recover since what happened to them during COVID, because heaven forbid we say that our political rivals were right. We can't have that. We can't let the chuds know they were right. So we can't acknowledge that.
I get what you're saying. It says Wendy's walked away from the original Frosty and, like the other joints, hired mid-level executives from local Ivy universities. They walked away from the Frosty?
Do they not have Frosties anymore?
Well, no, maybe it's like, what is it? Mr. Leary there when he was talking about, I just want coffee-flavored coffee. Dennis Leary when he was saying, can I get coffee? And now they don't have Frosty-flavored Frosties. They just have these weird concoctions they have on the menu, maybe?
It's entirely possible, yeah.
Let me see. Not all this is okay. Let me see. CO projects, burger and camera, blah blah. Okay, still not all the chains are struggling right now, though. Value menu pricing and savvy marketing. McDonald's and Taco Bell have been cleaning up. Insurgent chains like Raising Cane's. I've not been there. I've heard good things about them. Raising Cane's. Have you heard of that chain?
I have. Yeah, I don't know anything about them.
I've never heard of them.
That's because they're probably not in your area or mine. Are suddenly everywhere and thriving. Well, I'll be honest with you. Why am I going to go to Wendy's when I go to a Culver's or a Five Guys? That's another thing. Let's be honest here.
Right.
I can get a fresher burger and it's.
Well, let's get to what I think we would have assumed the central point of this article was.
Sure.
When you had Burger King and McDonald's, questionably making burgers, whether or not they'd been sitting around for a while or what, every single Wendy's burger was fresh. No, it was not flame broiled so that the grease dropped away. You got your full fat. It wasn't necessarily meant to be the most healthy thing. It was meant to be the most tasty thing. And suddenly we're finding out that by eliminating fat from your diet, you're missing a very important nutrient, and it's why you're craving empty carbohydrates. So, but the point being that Wendy's was the most like the kind of burger you would make in your own home,
Okay.
And that was what the big draw was. Hot and juicy, yes. My mouth is actually watering remembering the Wendy's burgers from years ago. They weren't my favorite French fries. I didn't care for Wendy's French fries. My uncle used to dip the French fries
Yeah, I
in
did that too.
Frosty, but I always felt like, and I didn't think that was weird. I just thought it was unnecessary, or it shouldn't be necessary for me to eat the French fries by buying a Frosty. You know, I'd rather just forego the whole thing. Maybe even
It was
get a
the
second
original
burger.
sweet and salty. You've had the salty fries, you dipped into the Frosty, and then you ate it, and it was
Yeah,
a great
I would
combination.
rather have just gotten 2 burgers rather than deal with all that kind of stuff. But
Not
yeah,
the best fries, no.
but it's absolutely true, because it used to be back in the day, these fast food places used to get their food sourced locally. That was what it meant to be cheaper. But then the distribution companies started to acquire the fast food companies, and then say, it doesn't matter if it's cheaper or not. You all have to be exactly the same, and exactly the same means you buy from exactly the same distributor.
This makes sense.
we
Now
say.
this is making more sense. Why everything's gone to crap.
Exactly, and we have allowed it. And again, this is another one of those situations where it's effectively a Gilded Age type trust situation, where you have a company that owns the business and the distribution for the business, and they become effectively the only game in town. And gee, why is everybody in our country getting sick and fat? Well, because you have laws on the books you're not enforcing, because those companies are filling the coffers of your campaign funds.
And housing utilities costs have outpaced expendable income for fast food. Well, I think too that the cost of fast food has gone up too, though. I mean, it's
The cost of the food has gone up because the price of the product they have to get is more expensive, because they're being forced to buy only from here and not locally. Yeah, that's why.
What's this though? The answer is a lot. And wait a minute. And so on behalf of the Level Residents work, and exactly what the F has happened to Wendy's in January 2024, after a year of flat sales, price hikes, franchise assessment, and flagging stock value, company named Kirk Tanner as its CEO. At the time, it was considered a surprise hire, given that Tanner had spent the previous 30+ years in consumer packaged goods at PepsiCo. Tanner quickly distinguished himself within his first month on the job by seeming to suggest that Wendy's might use AI to experiment with surge pricing on its menus. The resulting uproar, which took place in an election year defined by consumer agony or inflation, seemed poised to do more damage to the company than the great human finger chili hoax of 2004. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a Friday stream. We should talk about hoaxes one of these
Right,
Fridays.
we probably
Blame that
should.
one.
Well, if we don't get to it before, we'll probably start looking at that again as we start coming around to the Halloween season.
Yeah, because I remember that was a dumb one. That was a dumb one because they got caught. Okay. Anyway, Tanner suddenly decamped to Hershey's last, adding to the company's upheaval. His interim replacement CEO, Ken Cook, had been at Wendy's for only 8 months after spending previous 20 years at UPS. They keep hiring people that come from completely different industries.
Yeah, and
That's shipping. What does that have to do with running a food operation? I don't. Go ahead. Sorry.
Because these companies make really, really stupid decisions based on, I don't know. You have to dig into why do they make the choice they make. There's a lot of aspects that don't get reported on that are probably very relevant. For example, who hired him, and who do they know that this person knows?
Yeah, good point.
You know.
Have you seen, there's a YouTube channel, it's actually a pretty popular YouTube channel, the Running on Empty guy that does the fast food reviews. He's been doing it for years. Mm-hmm. I've seen his review of Wendy's products over the years, and he got this, I think he got like this mozzarella chicken sandwich or whatever, or at least he tried it like with a whole big thing. He took a bite of it and says, I can't eat this. He said, there is so much salt in this, I can't taste anything. He said this is unedible. That's what he said. He had some really bad things. In fact, it's funny. Like I remember a few months ago, or recent years, because I watch him every now and then, and he was like saying, "I can't do this anymore," because he he's gotten fast food at so many places, and he's been doing it for so long that he can tell when the quality's gone to crap, and he can tell. And he said it's just a lot of places have just gone to hell. Like, he actually had something decent to say about the newer Burger King Whopper. He said, you know, it tastes like a Whopper, but it's not nearly as bad as that one I got a couple years ago. He said, actually it's a good bun. He said, you know, it's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, like, he wasn't overwhelmed, but he said at least it's a lot better than what I've gotten from them recently, you know, so.
That's something, I guess.
Wendy's image as the fancy one started from the jump, with many featuring burger that was bigger than more fast food burgers at the time. I remember that. They were a big deal back in the 80s, remember?
Yep.
And at 55 cents, significantly more expensive. A quarter pounder before the current, and at 55 cents more expensive. When was it at 55 cents? Oh, the old days. Okay. Anyway, that must have been during the Carter administration before the inflation hit everything. Oh, here we go, though. But here's someone complaining about the Frosties. Do you mind if I just make a segue here?
Go for it.
Wendy's didn't have to bloat the menu with dozens of types of Frosty flavors, a weird partnership with Cinnabon and breakfast service. I do like their sausage biscuit. You shut up. I don't get it all the time, though. But to give credit, though, the Frosty flavors are an absolute stoner manna, and the breakfast Baconator is exactly the type of AM day ruiner that Saturday mornings were built for. What does that mean? Wait a minute.
I don't know.
You're going to eat a horrible breakfast and to ruin your day, or some calorie-loaded thing that's going to make... What is it, going to put you on the crapper all day? Pardon me. They launched an upgraded spicy chicken sandwich. That's right, because Wendy's was big on the chicken sandwich, and Popeye stole their thunder a few years back. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was a big one. I was about to say the thing, because a couple weeks ago I got the Wendy's chili, and it was just like a bowl of salt. I couldn't eat it. Yeah, I think that's another problem. A lot of these restaurants, they're over-salting everything, and that's not good for you.
Well, you can argue whether or not salt is good or bad for you.
Well, I think you need some salt in your diet. I just think they overdo it. You know, it's like
Well, the so-called dangers of salt have been overblown and misattributed, but that's beside the point. You have to again look at why are they putting so much salt in? What are they trying to cover up? And salt. Look at what it does in your body. Your body craves things it needs. It needs salt. It needs fat.
It does.
It needs protein. But you have to understand that this is why salt tastes good, because we are genetically programmed to seek it out. Otherwise, because if you have no salt in your diet, you will die. So you enjoy it, you put it on things, and this is what we do with salt, this is what we do with sugar, and too much of a good thing is absolutely a bad thing. But they don't care whether it's good for you or not. They care how addictive it is to you, and that's why they're doing it.
There was an episode of the original Gundam science fiction show, the anime from back in the 70s, where the survivors of the spaceship, the chef comes up to the captain and he says, we have to touch down Earth, go to like one of the oceans or something, because we need salt. We have no salt for the food. Without salt, the people on will die. He basically said they were out of salt, and he mentioned that on the thing that they had to go into dangerous territory to go. I guess the idea was I think they were going to try to get ocean water, get the sea salt from it, because they needed the salt. Otherwise, they were going to die. So yeah, obviously, like too much salt. Like you don't be like Goofy in the old. Donald Duck Goofy cartoons where he drinks a glass of salt water, you know? It's like, but yeah. So that's it. And I guess Wendy's going to get a job working at Hooters. Just a joke. I don't know. I just had to throw that in there.
Which is actually also kind of going out of business, so...
You know what? I hear Tony Soprano saying in my ear, everything turns to shit.
Yeah.
That's what he said in one episode. All right, our final...
It's not wrong. You're absolutely right.
All right, our final story of the night, which I'm doing because it's a follow-up to one we did a few weeks ago. I know you and Netta were on the road. I know you tried listening in when it was just deleted scenes. You know.
I actually think it was during this segment where the storm hit real hard, and I couldn't hear anything you guys were saying.
This was I did this story because even though I don't usually talk about reality television on the stream, this ended up becoming another huge cluster for Disney, because this is ABC. And basically a bunch of stuff came out that this woman on the True Lives of Mormon Wives, she's been in relationships and she's actually abusive. They think they even had on video of the boyfriend she was seeing where she was fighting, having a nasty fight with him. I think she throws something at him and it hits one of her daughters instead, and he's like, "Oh, can you go see to your daughter?" Like she's crying, like he was showing more concern for the daughter than than she was, and
Yeah.
it seemed very nasty from what I was saying, and anyway, though, but there's been an update in this because apparently Taylor Frankie Paul will now not face new charges following investigations into domestic violence allegations led by Utah authorities. The Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office has decided not to file charges following two separate investigations led by Draper Police Department and West Jordan Police Department. The office announced Tuesday per the Salt Lake Tribune. Now, to be fair, I don't know if this is related to that video tape or if this is something else. But the point is that the people making the show had to, if they had done some investigations, they would have found out about this. So I don't know if they were willfully ignorant or if they were just not doing their due diligence. But apparently Disney had lost millions on this show. And they said the poor Bachelor contestants on it, they say they have to take time off work, sometimes quit jobs to be on these reality shows. They have to buy new wardrobes because they don't give them wardrobes.
Right.
New clothes to wear to woo the Bachelorette, and apparently now that this show will never air, and so it's a huge loss for everybody. But let's see. On April 7th, Paul Mortensen appeared in court over an existing order of protection he had filed against the Warren wife star an hour before their appearance. Paul filed a temporary restraining order against Mortensen, which she was granted. Paul was also granted 8 hours supervised visitation with their shared son. Okay. So, I don't know, though. But I just thought I'd do an update on this, that's all. But,
No, that's interesting. Good.
Disney, I don't know. How are they doing? Like, is the media finally catching on? They're not doing so well, or are they still running cover for Disney? I mean, where are we at right now?
Both.
Okay.
They realize the problem, but they are still running cover because they don't know what else to do.
What's it going to take? What big disaster is it going to take for people to finally figure out that they're not doing what they did? I don't think Mandalorian Grogu is going to do well. I can't speak to the Avengers movie. Maybe that will do well because you have a lot of
it's not going to break even. It can't break even with the numbers that they're posting. It just can't. Even if
right, because they've had the reshoots. I keep forgetting they keep having to go back and reshoot
between
everything,
reshoots and they're just pouring money into it and this is that gambler's fallacy, right? We put so much money into it, we can't afford for it not to. Well, I'm sorry, it's gonna fail, and the more money you fail or you pour into it, the more it's gonna fail by. That's the problem.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like Disney's death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
That's what it's feeling like. But we'll see. And I don't know why they can't get these budgets under control. Is it egos of the executives or something? Is that what's going on here?
At
or
least
is it
partly.
test audiences screaming about that the cuts of the movie are not good?
It's at least partly ego. Yeah, they've decided this is what. Again, it's adjacent to the gambler's fallacy. This belief that if we keep doing this over and over again, we're going to get different results because we have convinced ourselves this is the winning strategy, instead of paying attention to reality and realizing it really isn't.
You know what's interesting? You bring up gambler's fallacy. I watched a William Shatner's The Unexplained show, and they did an episode about Oak Island, about how people keep going to Oak Island to find the pirate treasure. And one of the experts on there brought up a point that extreme treasure hunters that keep going after year after they found nothing, it's almost like a gambler mentality.
Yeah, it is.
Which I didn't
exactly
realize
right.
that, and I guess I guess it shows up or if it's a Pokemon card.
I was just about to make that analogy myself. Yes. I don't know, man. Now I'm imagining Netter on a sting with the police where she's having her Pokemon cards and someone comes up to her, then like a net falls on him or something. You know? Right. That's exactly how it would go. Yes, you're absolutely right.
People aren't that bad in the toy community, right? Where they would attack someone for a toy, right? They're not. It's not like that in the toy community.
I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but it would not surprise me in the slightest.
I don't think gaming is that bad. In the gaming, there's the issue with scalpers. That's the big thing with gaming. when the hot thing is out. But I don't think
You're going to
people-
find that in every single business because you know, people are doing the best they can to make as much money as they can.
Yep. All right.
All right, let's
that
get
wraps-
everyone over to deleted scenes
Yes.
now.
Yes. So y'all have a good week. Be sure to tune in an hour also on Last Call. I'm sorry, not Last Call, but well, that is your name on the channel, but Troy's channel
Sure.
for another episode of Doctor Who. Correct? After
Yep, we are
releases.
starting the Sensorites, the Strangers in Space, and the Unwilling Warriors. The stream is not up yet, but it will be by the time shortly after deleted scenes goes live. So.
I forgot doing the Hartnell era. They used to give the episodes individual names, didn't they?
Yep.
And then they just then they went over to the part 1, part 2, part 3 format. I mean, which they have now, but they just call them different names. Okay. And then tomorrow night, what are you doing on your channel?
Tomorrow night, I have decided to do, just because it's spring, and I said, let me go see what movies, are about spring or have spring in the title. And I found one called Spring Breakers with Selena Gomez. And I remember Netter, back in, was it 2012 when it came out, Netter expressed some interest in it because of Selena Gomez. And I said, let's do that one. So why not? And thank you so much to Lady Mist who sent a Farty Fox to Netter. Everybody that loves that Farty Fox needs to tune in to Netter's on Thursday. Gonna have a little Farty Fox surprise for you all appearing on. Thursday
Really?
Things.
Okay.
Yep. So make sure you tune in.
Oh, Grave Dance Union Unproduced Draft Special. Oh, sorry. Okay.
There you go.
And of course, you can see it. Join us for Sparkwood 21 on Tuesday, and be sure to also tune in throughout the week. We have other shows, including your
Liquid Lunch,
So, yeah.
Last Call on Friday, Saturday Night at the Movies. There's all kinds of great stuff. So stick around. We'll make it worth your while.
We love you guys like a fat kid loves cake. Well, on that note, I think we will end the stream. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Geek Flag. Nate.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great one. Take care.
Uh-huh.